For decades, using software has always felt like, well, like we had to bend to the machine's will, right? Learning menus, clicking around, memorizing where everything is.
Oh, absolutely. It's always been the case that the human has to adapt. We get trained on the technology. It's just how complex systems have worked.
Yeah, but maybe not anymore. Our deep dive today looks at something that could flip that whole idea on its head. We've gone through the sources on EON Reality's launch of their Brainy Suite, a set of conversational AIs.
Right. And the big claim, the one that really jumps out, is this idea of the end of the user interface.
Exactly. There's this quote from Dan Lajerskar at EON Reality saying, "We've reached the moment where technology no longer demands training." He says interaction should be, quote, "as naturally as breathing and speaking."
Which is a pretty radical statement when you think about decades of drop-down menus and icons. It suggests a fundamental shift.
It really does.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's unpack that. If we're ditching the clicks and menus, what are we actually using instead? How does this personal AI replace all that stuff we've gotten used to?
Well, it's pitched as the next step, really. You're merging natural language, talking with spatial computing and AI. The whole paradigm flips. The software finally starts adapting to us.
So EON Brainy, it's described as an intelligent guide. Is that the gist?
That's the core concept. Intelligent guidance. It acts like a personal assistant that, the sources say, sees, remembers, and acts across the EON ecosystem. It's designed to change how we learn, create, and even work.
And these brainies, they're not all the same.
No, they share a kind of cognitive foundation, but they're specialized, domain-specific. One helps you master a skill, another helps train a workforce, another helps build a business, specific goals.
Let's zero in on that UI replacement, though. That's the headline grabber. UI Brainy, I assume.
Exactly. UI Brainy is meant to just eliminate the need for all that clicking and scrolling and searching. You don't hunt for the button to generate that report anymore.
So you just ask.
Yeah.
What's the example they gave?
Yeah, pretty much. The user might just say, show me all learners who completed AI Safety Level 2 this month, and boom.
It just does it.
Instantly. Now, the sources do mention that, especially maybe in a hybrid mode, you might still see some visuals initially, but the idea is as you get comfortable, as you trust it, the visual interface kind of fades into the background. Your conversation is the command.
Okay, that makes sense. You're moving from spending time finding the function to just doing the task.
Yeah.
Huge time saver. So if the UI is less of a barrier, what's next? Creating stuff, like training materials.
Exactly right. Creating structured learning content is usually time-consuming, complex. That's where Course Brainy comes in. It's designed to turn a conversation into a whole curriculum.
A whole curriculum. How does it make sure the information is accurate, especially for, say, company-specific training?
Good question. It has two modes. AI Ready mode is fast builds courses from a simple prompt, but Train AI mode is key for verified knowledge. You feed it your materials, PDFs, manuals, videos, whatever. And it builds the course based only on that trusted information.
So it's not just pulling from the general internet soup. If I say, create a course on renewable energy safety using this PDF I uploaded, it does that.
Precisely. Generates the course, learning outcomes, assessments, visuals, all tied to your document.
That sounds like it could cut down development time from weeks to minutes?
Or seconds, potentially. That's the goal. And that speed carries over into things like career planning with Career Brainy.
Career Brainy?
Yeah.
Is that just like a fancy job board search?
It seems more integrated than that. It links into their EON Career Compass platform. It looks at your skills, your certs, and compares them to real-time local job market data.
Okay.
So you can ask it something like, what do I need to learn next to become an AI technician in my city?
And it tells you.
Yeah, it highlights the skill gaps you have, shows you relevant salary maps for that job in your region, and can even directly launch the Course Brainy modules you need to bridge those gaps.
Wow. Okay, so it's actively plotting a path for you. And what about building something new? There's an entrepreneur Brainy, too.
Right. Think of it as an interactive business coach. It guides you through ideation, financial modeling, strategy, the tricky stuff.
What's the example they use for that? Because that sounds pretty complex for an AI.
The example was pretty ambitious. You could conversationally ask it to, say, generate a startup plan for an XR training center in Saudi Arabia.
And it just creates one.
Instantly, according to the sources, a full blueprint, budget outline, potential partners, even a video pitch deck, all generated through conversation.
That speed is almost unbelievable. For that to work, though, the system must have a perfect memory of everything you've done, right? How does it keep track? How does it know me session after session?
That's crucial. That's the job of Memory Brainy. They call it the continuity engine. It tracks everything, courses finished, skills learned, assessments passed.
And this creates a learning genome. That sounds intense.
It does, yeah. It's basically your personalized, persistent record. It stores your progress, transcripts of your past chats with the Brainies, test results, everything.
So it's like your academic record, but for everything you learn or do within this system.
Kind of, yeah. And in a corporate setting, that's huge for tracking compliance, certifications, making sure knowledge doesn't just disappear when someone leaves. It maintains context.
Okay, I get the what. What about the how? How do you actually interact with these brainies? Is it always talking to an avatar?
No, there are options depending on the situation. The sources list 4 main ways or modalities.
Okay.
There's video avatar mode, which is that lifelike character for, more engagement. Voice mode is just audio good for hands-free stuff like on a factory floor.
Right.
Text mode is straightforward chat, fast and scalable for big enterprise uses. And then there's hybrid mode, which blends the conversation with visuals and data dynamically. Thing like a meeting or classroom where you're talking, but also seeing relevant charts or models pop up.
That makes sense. It sounds very top-down, corporate focused, maybe.
Yeah.
But you mentioned anyone could use this. There's a build your own brainy part?
Absolutely. That seems to be a core part of the strategy democratization. Any user or school or company can supposedly train and deploy their own Brainy.
Oh.
You upload your specific data, customize its personality, its tone, and create a tailored conversational AI for your exact needs.
And how does the money side work? Is this incredibly expensive?
It's based on a token model, pay as you go, free to get started for individuals, apparently, and then conversations use up tokens. Enterprises can get subscriptions or pools of tokens.
A token for a conversation.
Seems like it. The idea they're pushing is creating a new digital economy where knowledge itself becomes conversational and tradable.
That links back to the accessibility claim then. If it's token-based, what about the actual cost compared to other platforms?
They make a pretty bold claim there. The sources state the operating costs are up to 90% lower than competing AI video platforms.
90%.
Yeah. And that's what they say enables the global reach. The example given is a teacher in Tanzania, a startup in Riyadh, or a corporation in California all get equal access.
Okay, that low cost, combined with the speed of creation we talked about, that really could democratize things. It feels like the whole suite is trying to replace complexity with just talking.
That really seems to be the connecting thread. Shifting from high costs and time spent figuring out software to low-cost, on-demand results through dialogue, whether it's learning, creating, or just getting work done.
And they're not stopping here, are they? What's the future vision? Mid-2026?
Right, they're already planning the next steps. Creator Brainy and Vibe Brainy are mentioned.
What are they supposed to do?
The idea is users will be able to build entire applications, complex simulations, just by talking. Ladriskar's vision is pretty direct. In a few years, people won't download apps, they'll talk them into existence.
Talk apps into existence. Okay, so wrapping this up, what does this really mean for you listening? The big shift seems clear. We're moving away from needing training for software towards software that's trained by our interactions with it.
The potential time savings alone, just by cutting out the interface navigation and getting straight to the task via conversation, could be enormous for productivity.
And it's not just theory. This suite is apparently already live across EON's virtual campus, Career Compass, and other platforms.
Yeah, it's out there now.
Which leads to maybe a final thought to chew on. If you have a personal AI building this comprehensive learning genome, recording every interaction, every skill learned, your entire conversational history with it, what does that mean for your ownership of that knowledge? Where's the line between your learning journey and the AI's perfect record of it? Something to consider as we head towards talking our next skills into reality.